Maven Corporation has posted a blog post about how social media affects the rate and accuracy with which news is spread. In it, they said that although it does increase the rate at which news is spread, that it's spreading to thousands of people much more quickly, it also affects the accuracy. It means they basically said that people who show up with a phone can stream it to Facebook Live, and then they're sharing it to all their friends, which could be hundreds or thousands of people, but then they may not have the full story. Instead of being a police report or a first-hand account that's told to a local news station and more accurate, and then shared to a larger news station, it's just one guy with a phone or a small camera who streams, and then that's what gets spread. It may not be the full story, it could be inaccurate, it could be wrong, he may be on the wrong side of the fence, he may be glorifying a murder or something like that, but we don't know. We just know that he streamed it, we know about the event now from him, and we all know it's his perspective. So online video platforms have grown massively in the last few years. YouTube alone has 1.3 billion users. And that, not only YouTube, but also Facebook Live, Snapchat, Vimeo, all these other video platforms, like the one you're watching now, have grown and are now sharing videos better than ever, faster than ever, and more popular than ever. This newfound connectivity is a great way for sharing news, event details, or video entertainment, but it also allows for certain miscommunications and errors. There's been a lot of pros and cons within the video sharing community. It does make it easier to miscommunicate. Poor visuals, poor video quality, poor audio quality, audio desync, all these factors, poor connectivity, all these factors can come into making a really good video stream if they're all done correctly, or a really bad one if some of them done incorrectly. It can make a wonderful service go from wonderful to terrible like that. So there have been a rise in churches actually adopting this technology. Many of them are going to a live stream based system where instead of doing a sermon at each of their campuses, they just have a main broadcast campus speech or preach, and then from that broadcast campus they record it, upload it, live stream it via a live streaming service or something, so they don't have to have multiple preachers in multiple locations. My personal church, Daystar, actually uses a video sharing technique. We don't live stream anymore. We've tried that and it failed, but we use a video sharing technique where we'll actually record our 8:30 service, and then from that we will actually take and upload it to Dropbox, and our satellite campus in Hartsville or Madison, Alabama will actually download it and play it out at their 9:45 and 11:15 services. This is great for churches like us where we stagger our service times, but then there's also churches like Highlands who want to have constant service times. They want to have an 8:30, a 9:45, and 11:15 at all their campuses. They don't want to have any sort of break. They don't have the same sermon there with no delay. What this means is because they need to live stream it. Live stream and video sharing are very different and very similar. Live streaming is basically when you send a live video signal with 0 to a few seconds delay. Live streaming in a large scale is very expensive and very difficult. When you use your phone or a computer screen, it's pretty easy to live stream. You're just having to send to a small screen that doesn't have many details. You can have a lower video quality without sacrificing the overall quality. But then whenever you blow that up to a 16-foot by 9-foot projector, it actually goes from like what looks great on your phone is actually really low quality in your projector screen. We've tried this at my church. We tried using a service meant for a phone called a Teradex, made out of video, where it looked great on your laptop, but then when you blew it up to your projector, it looked terrible. So to properly live streaming would be thousands of dollars. But I say all this to say that this new technology has arisen. It's allowed so many churches to expand their fan base and their audience, and to really get to people who can't get into church, people with disorders or physical disabilities or sicknesses, or people who are out of town, maybe in different countries. We have people at my church who are, I think, in Japan, and they watch the services. But it allows people who are remote to be able to access the service. That being said, it's not all pros. There's also some downsides to it. The main issue is that when we communicate, we're essentially transmitting information from point A to point B. This is great and easy, but there's also factors that come into it. So right now I'm in a living room. There's pictures behind me. There's a plant up there pointed to the wrong side. And there's these things that are probably distracting you on your end. There's things in the corner. There's a notification telling you that Susie's wanting to talk to you or whatever. There's things that are in your room. There's noise going on. There's distractions. There's a light through your window or whatever. There's there's this environment, there's this noise, all these factors play into our communication. And so as you can see, I'm gesturing, you have all these nonverbal cues that are going on. In a video feed, you get all this. In an audio feed, you don't. But then the issue then arises, well, there's these factors, but there's also this thing between us. There's a gap, you know? You have the computer screen. I'm recording on a computer, and so you have this computer screen that actually creates a gap between us. So how does the gap come into play when it comes to, like, a preacher? When you're preaching, you can't just talk, you know? You can't just talk and then automatically they get into it and they're saved, you know? You have to make a connection. You have to establish a relationship and make them trust you in 30 or 40 minutes to where by the end of it, you say, hey, raise your hand for Christ. They raise their hand. My senior pastor, Pastor Jerry, spoke on this multiple times. He's actually told us that connecting with a crowd is one of the hardest things to do, that you're making them trust you and in that small amount of time. And so whenever you add in this third factor, or this other factor, in our case, it's a projector screen playing a video, it goes from being a great service in Good Hope, our main campus, to a service that can be great, cannot be great, kind of depends on the preacher, you know? So basically, this factor of the wall that you have to jump is really what comes into play here. So it can be a good thing, be a bad thing, because you're reaching hundreds of thousands of people, more people than you may not be, or than you may otherwise be reaching. We have our 3 main campuses, and we also have an online campus, which is strictly on the internet. We just play the video on there, and they can just see it. We have a chat room set up where they talk to our preachers, and they get prayed for, and they get saved on there. We've had dozens of people saved on there. But if we didn't do this streaming service, then they would not see that. And there's people out of town. I myself have been driving to Texas one time when I watched the service online. So there's many pros and cons to video streaming, and when it comes down to it, it's a new technology. It's improving. It's getting better. I'm on my cheap computer here, and it's, you know, decent video quality, not great. But then if I were to go to our church and use our multiple $1,000 cameras, they'd be a great, way more high quality, and you probably enjoy it a lot more. But then this just goes to show how accessible it is right now, and soon this is going to be like a feature standard thing in many technologies, like especially in a church world where it takes up to $30,000 to share a video. It can go from that to $10,000 to $5,000. So really, it just comes down to whether or not you think it's worth it. It can be, the gap you have to jump to connect with your audience can be good, it can be bad. It depends on all of your churches or your personal preference. It's getting better. There's many pros and cons, but overall it just depends on what you like.